We've been waiting and waiting to do this story to get the latest information, but we're just not getting any better information. To reset, Monday night, there was a Democratic caucus in Iowa. After getting 1 or 2% of the vote stopped coming in. Irregularities, quality control, a crashed app. On Tuesday, we got 62% of the vote. By Wednesday, we had 71% of the vote. By Thursday, we had 97% of the vote. And then all of a sudden, the DNC says, we want to start over. We want to recanvass all of the results. So I'll just give you the numbers I have right now. As of right now, Pete Buttigieg is ahead by 0.1% of the vote and by 3 state delegate equivalents. This will work out in the end. No matter who ends up winning, this is going to work out roughly to the same number of pledged delegates for Bernie Sanders and for Pete Buttigieg, unless the numbers that we have so far are just completely wrong. There are numerous questions about this, but as always, the real story is that we knew from the start, with proportional apportionment of delegates, the leaders, likely the front runners, we thought it would be Biden and Bernie, it ended up being Buttigieg and Bernie, they're going to have roughly the same number of pledged delegates, and this is going to be a fight for way longer than Iowa. This is about momentum and claiming victory. Many relevant questions from the Iowa caucus. Does it make sense for Iowa to keep going first? The answer is no. Dealt with that on yesterday's show. Is our entire system of primaries and caucuses broken? Very much so. We dealt with that on yesterday's show. Is the DNC in shambles and in an embarrassing situation? Yes, we dealt with that on the Wednesday show. But then now the latest news is that Democratic National Committee Chair Tom Perez came out and said, we need to recanvass all of the results because now there are questions about accuracy, even of what's been announced so far. To recanvass is essentially to double check the vote, hand auditing. Iowa election officials would have to hand audit the caucus worksheets and the reporting forms to make sure at every level the votes translated correctly to the caucus worksheets, to the reporting forms, and so on. This is another reason why we should just have a primary to start, not a caucus, and arguably we should get rid of caucuses altogether. It's insanity, and within a few days we're going to be on to New Hampshire. The reality all along was that whether Pete or Bernie win in Iowa by 1 or by 2 or by 3 or by 5 percentage points, it's not going to make a difference to the long-term math, and it's more about this being another one of these endemic, unfortunate realities in the political machinations of the DNC and of corporate politics and of the establishment efforts to influence this election. So before you know it, we're going to be talking about New Hampshire results. Bernie and Pete essentially tied, will likely come out of this with the same number of pledged delegates, if not varying by maybe 1 delegate. It's an embarrassment, but that's where we are as of right now. Let me know what you expect in terms of shenanigans between now and the DNC. I'm on Twitter at Pakman. Do you feel like you just don't have enough time to become as intellectually well-rounded as you would like to be, that there are just not enough hours in your week for you to read all of the books that you want to read? One of our sponsors is called Blinkist, and it's an app that lets you consume an entire nonfiction book in 15 minutes. It's only about $8 a month, but you can try it for free for a week and get 25% off a subscription when you go to Blinkist.com/Pakman. What Blinkist does is take thousands of popular nonfiction books and condense them into either text or audio that you can read or listen to in just 15 minutes. And what you get is all of the most important ideas and information from the book. Imagine being able to listen to an entire nonfiction book in the amount of time it takes you to drive or walk home from work. I just finished listening to Catch and Kill by Ronan Farrow. Super interesting book, probably already familiar to some in my audience, and a really interesting take at how Harvey Weinstein and his alleged transgressions were brought to light. Excellent investigative piece. Blinkist has totally transformed how I consume information. I love it. Of course, I read a book in its entirety when I can, but there are simply just so many books that I want to read and would not have the time for if it weren't for Blinkist. They have books on politics, economics, philosophy, science, you name it. You can try it out yourself, totally free for a week, and get 25% off if you decide to subscribe just by going to Blinkist.com/Pakman. I've put the link right underneath this video. Like the rest of us, I bet you're going into 2020 thinking about what you didn't get around to in 2019 and your goals for the new year. If you want to work towards being your best self in 2020, understand more about the world around you, and make sure that your time is well spent, then Blinkist is for you.